Alright, so this is part 2 of how to raise a square body bed. Yesterday's video we showed on how to do the inside panels, raising those up. Today we're going to do the inner fender. Yesterday I just tacked these up so you guys could see how much we're going to section it. But what I'm going to do next is I'm going to break these spot welds off so we can start marking where we're going to make our cuts on the stock inner fender bed. Alright, so I took those pieces back apart and bolted them to the inner fender. We can kind of cheat. We can make our marks, our cut marks, to kind of help us. Still double check, still measure everything before you make any cuts. Don't just rely on, oh, that's where it needs to be. Like I said, we can cheat, make marks, both sides as reference points, and just work our way across. Here's the center where we're going to split it. I'm going to cut it right down the middle. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this up and then start measuring and drawing our lines of where our cut marks are going to be.
Hey, like, I've never been golfing like that. I've never been golfing sober. Yeah, see, I'm
trying to work. Alright, so we have the inside of the fender marked where we're going to cut. The face itself, 1.5 inches. I cheat, right? So I use a laser to mark everything. But if you don't have a laser, you're just trying to measure everything out. Do not go 1.5 inches here. That's more like 2.5. Because as that, remember, this has a slant in it, so it's not going to be 1.5. The very first time I raised the bed, I had actually cut this line. I marked it 1.5, and it was wrong. I had to go in there and redo it again, sacrifice 2 other fenders. So just remember, 1.5 inches. If you can get a laser, great, because that'll help you line up your lines. So we're gonna go ahead and cut this, section this, and then split it down the middle so we can start piecing it together on the actual bedside. All right, so there's the inner fender cut. The 1.5 inch section. Strip that we took off, and the top cap that we're going to split and then push it off to the sides, and then do a filler piece in the middle. I messed up a little bit on this end over here, got a little willy wonkus, but we'll go ahead and we're going to end up fixing that once we do the final welding. So you will make mistakes, don't worry about it. Just, you know, overcome your mistakes and just adjust and repair as needed, because you will end up, you know, making a bad cut. Not every cut is perfect. So alright, so I got the bottom half of the stock inner fender bolted up. I also have the bed sides, the lower portions, just bolted up, both sides. So now what we're going to end up doing is, I already split the top half, split those 2 pieces. Now it's just a matter of building this back. You know, that'll line up right there. Start tacking it in and just start building the form. So I'll do this section first, then I'll come over here, tack this side in, then we need to connect the 2 pieces here, and then do the, it's like 4.5 inches down the center. Alright, so we have the inside lip basically formed up. Have the vice grips just kind of holding everything in place, make sure everything's flat. So what we're going to do now is take a piece here, fill this bridge up, we'll bend it, and then once we tie this together, then that'll give us our solid structure across. Then what we'll do is unbolt that lip, or flange, whatever you want to call it, and then we'll transfer it over to the bedside to make the cut there. But so now we just got to cut this, bend it to connect it. Bam! Alright, here's that piece that I made. I'm going to weld this to bridge that up. It's a little slower. It's got a little bend right up there. Alright, here it is, all tacked up. 1, 2, the piece we made, 3, 4. So total of 5 sections, all tacked up. So now I'll transfer it over to the bedside. Alright, so I have that center piece here. I've already trimmed that right there. Remember, we might have an issue with this bedside here, so if you know, we'll address that when we get to it. But if we put this up right about there, both sides. I wanted to show you guys something. So you're gonna have to trim. Sorry, my gloves are on. This piece right here, make that flat across, because those two little bumps are gonna interfere with the inside, well, actually the outer skin part of this. So we're just gonna cut those off, and then it should lay flat. All right, so now it's time to make this center piece. Here's a little trick. You notice it's got a little step lip right there, little step, and then it's gonna curve. Here's the trick. On the section that we took out from right about here, which is this piece, it's already got that same bead in it. So if you don't have a bead roller at home, you can actually just reuse this piece. You're gonna cut out your section, and then you can either, you know, roll it on your knee or just on something round. You're just gonna roll this edge. That's actually what we did right there. So don't throw away that inner piece, because you could use it to fill your gap in over here. Because like I said, it's actually exactly the roll you need. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this out, start forming it, and tack it into place. All right, here's that piece cut out. I've left it extra long because you have to do the curve. You also have to do the step down here, but just wanted to show you how it looks. See if that angle gets it right there. See that? It's perfect for it. So what we have to do now is just start rolling it. Rolling it. Once we get this end, make a step down, and then start tacking it in place. All right, there's that piece tacked in place with the bridge piece also. So now I'm gonna put the bedside on, make sure everything's good before we start doing more tacks, and then we'll blow it all apart to do the final weld. I'll actually probably end up putting the bed on the truck before I blow it all apart to do the final welding, but we just wanna make sure everything is on the up and up. All right, there's the bed all bolted up, test fitted. Again, everything is tacked in place. Everything checks out, everything is good. The only problem we did have was that gap right there, which I'll take care of in the final weld process. Next step now is to set the bed on the truck, just to make sure everything's good. Pull it back apart and weld everything up. At this point, I have about 36 hours into it. We probably still have another 12 hours of full welding. So all in all, probably 55 to 60 hours to do the full bed rise from start to finish. But let's see if I can get the family to come back out here again and help me put the bed on the truck. We'll see what that looks like. All right, here's the bed on the truck. It's not bolted down, so if you tell on this belt line, it's lopsided, but you know, once you bolt it all down, it'll sit.